Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Rams Review podcast. And we've got another preview for you now as the Rams head to Wales this weekend to take on Wrexham. So I'm joined by Tim from the Fearless and Devotion podcast to talk about the upcoming fixture. Tim, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you? You well?
Yeah, no, good, thanks. I think this should be a really interesting game because I believe this is Derby's first trip to the racecourse in over 40 years. Uh,
Yeah, sounds about
so
right.
it's it's a new ground to be ticked off, and yeah, no, I think we could be in for a little bit of a blockbuster given the number of goals scored and conceded by Wrexham. There you go, one rubbish Hollywood pun in there already. I've totally not been banking these for weeks, by the way, ahead of this. But yeah, no. First of all, how's the season been so far for Wrexham, Tim?
Um, Great to be honest. There's some people have been whinging about results and there's some fake news about Parker the other week, which was shot down by Sean Harvey, who came on our pod just to sort of describe it as just utter rubbish, really. But I think it's been great. None of us have, for the vast majority of the fan base, we've not experienced Championship football, so we never really knew what to expect, apart from it being a lot tougher. And it's just been every game is we've scored goals. Most games always conceded goals as well. That's been half the problem. But I've loved it. I've loved it. I mean, it's not like Sheffield United situation where you're getting pumped week in week out and wondering where the rot's going to stop. So yeah, fully enjoyable. It's taken a little bit of adjusting in terms of the turnover of personnel because that is quite personally for me, it's quite difficult to get my head around because we completely assembled a new squad in 8 weeks, basically, to sort of deal with the rigors of the championship. And I'm still trying to get some sort of emotional buy-in to some of these players. It's easy said than done. It's like, oh, they pull on the shirt, you should be loving the players. Yeah, I do love them, but not in the true sense of idolizing them like we often do with footballers. But yeah, I'm just not there with that. But I'm sure if they continue to pick up the results the way they have done in recent weeks, that'll soon come.
Yeah, no, I guess it's the case of what back to back promotions and sort of having an attachment to the players who achieved all of that, right? Over that period, you've got to warm to these players as you get used to them, haven't you? And see them on the pitch. I mean, it's been similar for Derby in that respect. Heavy turnover each of the past few seasons from kind of going into administration, coming back out, and so on. I mean, 13 in, 13 out at Pride Park. And I know one thing that they're still working on is kind of gelling as a team, understanding each other on the pitch as well. How's that sort of thing going for Wrexham? Because it has, as you say, been a big summer. Is it over £30 million?
Yeah, yeah, it's not far off. I mean, it's, it's slightly lower than that because obviously there's still payments to come in later months and years for various dealings and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's not a million miles away from that, which is mad for us because we've never ever had that kind of money, sort of flashed around, if you like, ever. So, we've gone from 1 minute spending 400 grand for like a record signing within the last 12 months to now paying 7.5 grand for Nathan Broadhead as a club record signing. So yeah, it's still a lot to get our heads around, but you just got to embrace it. It's not my money. It's somebody else's money. If they want to spend it and it's all within profit and sustainability rules, then so be it. Happy days.
Yeah, I mean, this is just modern football, right? In terms of the silly sums of money thrown around. It's not a Wrexham problem, as some
No.
people maybe like to jump on bandwagon with some of the big spending clubs. This is just the nature of it. But yeah, no, how did you get on last time out then at the weekend? What was that like? And then obviously, I believe a cup game as well.
Yeah, well, we're doing all right now. Obviously, I feel like we've turned a bit of a corner. We've always been in games for the most part. It's just been sort of conceding cheap goals. But obviously, Norwich, we somehow went to Norwich and we were somehow behind at the break, and then we scored 3 goals in about, and what was it, like a 12-minute period or something to completely swing the tide in our favour. They got a late consolation, but Like it could have been 5 or 6. I'm not joking. I mean, I like, if Norwich were good, and I was expecting a lot more, I think any Wrexham fan was expecting a lot more. You kind of say, you know what? You don't mind being beaten by a decent side or a better side. I've just seen like a Norwich podcast now. It's basically saying, I wouldn't have minded, but Wrexham aren't even good. It's like, well, we should have put 5 or 6 on you. So if you're saying we're not good, then I can't wait for Wrexham to actually click and be good then, if that's the case. So I'm all for being like gracious in defeat and calling it as I see it. And Norwich are going through a bad spot. They've got some great players, but we went there and we did him over. And not many people can ever argue with that result. So I'm happy with that. And then last night we finally got a decent clean sheet on the board. We haven't had many of those this season. That's a second, I think, probably the first in the league, I think. Sorry, yeah, is it? I can't remember now. We had one in the league at Millwall, and then this one last night at home. First home clean sheet of the season, if that's right. Yeah, I think. And that was against Reading, and took a bit of time to get going. First half wasn't great. Second half completely transformed it, and yeah, we're into the fourth round of the League Cup for the first time in since 1977, which is nice.
Yeah, that is some feat, isn't it? Really, it shows, I guess, the rise that the club have been on in recent years. Just looking at that Norwich game, one thing that I've kind of pinpointed as a potential threat, given how Derby got on at the weekend with the defeat to Preston, is the wing backs in this Wrexham system. Because I know Preston's wing backs caused the majority of the problems for Derby. I mean, 2 assists for Issa Kabore and a goal for Ryan Longman as well. Uh, is that kind of something you've seen a lot this season? Is that something we can expect on Saturday? And somewhere that, on the basis of recent results for both sides, Derby might be a little bit exposed?
Potentially, I mean, we've always kind of worked with win backs, but it's kind of caught us out a bit this year because obviously the standard is higher, expecting to do a lot more tracking back and mucking in as well as going forward. So, um, I mean, Kabore he was so good at Norwich. That was his debut, and he's on a season long loan from Man City. They obviously held him in high regard. Really good. Just doesn't mess around, doesn't think about it. He just goes fast and crosses it in. It's just kind of what you want from a decent win back, but pinpoint accuracy for the most part. But yeah, Parky's been tweaking it in recent games. Not we're usually quite rigid with a 5-3-2, but he's kind of like been messing around with the system a little bit. Um, and fingers crossed, things seem to be leveling out in a good way for us. We've had that sort of frenetic start and shipping cheap goals and yeah, kind of losing a little air invincibility that we've had at home, which we've been so good at home under Parkinson since the new regime came in, like ridiculously good. So yeah, to kind of lose a little bit of that has been frustrating, but maybe yesterday's result will help going forward because it was a fairly fringe squad last night. But I say that, and I'm still starting with a record signing, and yeah, it's just weird. All of it's utterly bizarre. It's not lost on us how fortunate we are to be in this position. So we're just gonna grab onto it with both hands and see how far it continues to take us. Really.
Absolutely, you've got to enjoy these times as a fan. Um, and then I just wanted to ask you about a couple of players further up the pitch as well. So Kiefer Moore, of course, Welsh international, uh, come back to Wales, and Josh Windass. Uh, I'm sure you're aware of this, but a stat for the viewers and listeners here. He's averaging a goal in the championship this season every 52 or so minutes. 3 goals and 177 minutes played. How impressive has he been in the relatively small amount of minutes he's played so far?
Well, I mean, he's missed a lot. He's obviously started at Southampton, scored our first championship goal since '82, where it was we were last in it, and then second game against West Brom, he got injured, so we haven't seen him since that game up until Norwich, and he's come back and just carried on where he left off. I mean, it's just unbelievable, unbelievable. But we kind of knew we were getting a good player and kind of the type of person he is as well. But he is just, I think he's probably taken out a lot of the frustration that he's kind of bore witness to at Sheffield Wednesday, what was going on there, because sort of the backdrop of all the chaos. Probably taking a bit of that out on other teams as well, and which obviously is great for us. But his all-round game is so impressive. He's a very, very intelligent footballer, reads the game really well, takes on instructions really well, and sticks to them. And as we saw at the weekend, I mean, the G it has two finishes of very different finishes, but I mean, how confident is a player who's missed the best part of almost a month, comes back in, hits a shot, first time volley goal, and then curls one in from the edge of the box when nothing looks on. I mean, he's ridiculous, and it's almost feels criminal that we got him for nothing.
Yeah, and Derby fans who cast their mind back to New Year's Day as well, as much as they might not want to. That ended in a 4-2 defeat for the Rams at Hillsborough. But Windass scored from what must have been 60 yards. It was
Yeah, I remember
it was
that.
a little
Yeah.
bit over that halfway line inside his own half. So I mean, I bet you'd love to see something like that on Saturday, wouldn't you?
But you need players like that who can muster something out of nothing. We had that with Paul Mullin for the most part coming through the leagues. He could literally magic something out of nothing. They're special kind of strikers, I think, because if you've got that self-confidence and the belief to have a go from the halfway line, have a go from the touch line, have a go a overhead volley from 20 yards, whatever it may be, if you're trying to pull off things like that, that says a lot about a player's confidence and ability. I mean, if you haven't scored for 4 or 5 games, don't try doing it. You just want a simple tap in to get the ball rolling. So I just am very fortunate. But again, I would quite happily take a 2 yard tap in on Saturday if it means we get something from it than a 40 yard worldie as he's kind of got the ability to do. But it's just a joy to watch, to be honest. It really is a joy to watch. And maybe after all these years of never ever being remotely near the championship, we're kind of blessed with what we're seeing now. Not just from our side, but you can definitely tell the standard. Like it's such a big gap between the Championship and League One. I thought, is that a myth? It's not a myth. It's absolutely cast iron fact. It's just worlds apart, honestly.
Yeah. So overall, any particular expectations for Saturday? Any kind of predictions ahead of the game?
I don't know. I mean, last time we played Derby, Arturo Lupoli scored a hat trick for you guys in the FA Cup, and that was like 97 or something, or whatever it was. I remember being at that game. Um, so you haven't got him anymore, which is great because I think he was an Arsenal loanee. I genuinely don't know. Again, like it kind of feels like an open book or like a blank canvas because we're like, oh well, Derby have been there thereabouts and we were Premier League not long ago. Then they've had a bit of a sort of bit of a torrid time, and then you've bounced. Weren't you in League One for a bit, a few years back?
Yeah, after administration, we dropped
Yeah,
21 point deduction one season. Rooney
yeah.
would
Well,
have kept us up without that, remarkably, but
yeah,
yeah, ended up a couple of years in League One and
yeah. Well,
came back up.
we know about administration. We were the first team to be docked points for it many, many
Yeah,
moons
that's a
ago.
great stat.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate stat that makes me go cold, but yeah, it is a stat
Yeah,
nevertheless. But yeah, I genuinely don't know. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it because from a football romantic purist point of view, I can still think of the baseball ground and Robbie Savage. Was it Roy McFarland years ago?
yeah,
Used to be a manager, Roy
yeah,
McFarland. Yeah. Um, yeah, there's probably a handful. Will Hughes was there for a bit. Was
yeah.
Will
Will
Hughes
Hughes
there?
came through the
Yeah,
academy at
Will
Derby.
Hughes. Obviously, Dave Jones is on a coaching staff now. He was at Derby for a bit as well, and yeah, just these various links over the years, and you just think, well, it's nice to take on a team that's got or a club that's got that kudos and standing. You might think, oh yeah, it's been a bit of a rubbishy time, and whilst we're having the time of our lives at the moment because of where we've been and where we are now, but never take it for granted. The wheels can come off at any time. We've all been there and seen it. So I'm just excited. I'm genuinely excited, and I'll probably take a deep dive in the next few days to sort of have a look at your squad players, who you've got, who to look out for, and just keep an eye on it because you just never know. Because some people you get players in, you think, oh great, but you never know if that player is going to be the next big thing. If they're going to end up, I'm sure Blackburn fans or whatever would have said maybe when sure Adam Wharton was going to be massive. Now he's like such a big player and probably is probably going to go even further. So you just never know, and that's kind of the beauty of it, I think. But yeah, excited, but I don't know what Saturday will hold, is my honest answer.
No, but you know what? That's the joy of football, isn't it? That is why we are waiting patiently, or well, impatiently in some cases, for what 12:30 on Saturday afternoon. So yeah, Tim, thank you very much for joining me this evening, and good luck
Pleasure.
for the rest of the season. Well, after Saturday in particular.
After this one and then the away one, yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much to you for watching and listening, and yeah, up the rounds.